Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and together we are going to be looking into the month of January to really start fresh in your new year of 2024, as well as to look into any bigger insights for Capricorn season. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel. I put out new readings every single Monday for pick a card readings, educational videos on charm casting, and art magic videos. So if you're interested in any of that, do consider subscribing as we move through the piles. But today, as I said, we're going to be really exploring the first month of the new year, 2024. Happy New Year, as well as happy birthday to all those Capricorns out there, as we're going to be looking into how we can really work with Capricorn energy for your month moving forward as well. But before we really start diving in to each of the piles and the nitty gritty here, definitely feel free to check out the New Year's readings that I am hosting right now and offering right now. They are some of my absolute favorite readings to do, and my favorite readings for a reason. Not only do I love to do a reading for myself with this, and it gives you so much information to really look overarchingly throughout the year, but also it gives you a lot of information that you can use for a long period of time. So if you're new to tarot, or if you've never had a tarot reading for yourself, this is a great one to get because you really get your bang for the buck, you know? So all of the information on those are down below for how you can bridge the new year, the theme of the new year for you, what 2024 might look like, the advantages, disadvantages moving into the year, challenges and ways to navigate the year. So definitely feel free to check all of the information for those out down below. You can reach out through Instagram DM to order your own and get more information or ask questions, or you can do it through email. All of the information though will be down below in case you're curious. But with that said, definitely feel free to check those out because they'll only be out through January. But we're going to look at these piles. So for each of the piles, I decided on just a simple crystal here to start us off. So here for pile number 1, the crystal for you to sort of gaze at here is Labradorite with all of these really beautiful flashes. So that's pile number 1. You might be pile number 2 if you are called to this beautiful crystal quartz cavern here. So I always see it as a cavern, but it is a geode. So if you're feeling this one, that's pile number 2. And here, last but not least, for pile number 3, we have this piece of Lapis Lazuli with this gorgeous blue color, this bits of pyrite, and this really cool like sort of scar along it. So that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I like to give you an opportunity here to really take a deep breath with me here in a moment to look into which piles are really calling out to you, to connect with your intuition, your guides, and to connect with yourself. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can flip-flop between them. You can change your mind or take little bits that resonate and leave what doesn't. There really is no right or wrong way. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description, as well as with the chapter marks of this video. And like I said, if you really want to get a reading for yourself, for a digital or snail mail reading where I send a letter to you in the mail, definitely feel free to check those out down below for the New Year's readings that will only be offered through January. So with that all said, let's go ahead and look at pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this little piece of Labradorite, then this is the pile for you, glimmering for you for your month of January as we head into the new year for you, full of new possibilities. We are going to be playing around with the charms today, as well as several different oracle decks, and a very special tarot deck today of the Star Sisters Tarot, or the Goober deck. This was made by my dear sister for me, so I'm very excited to be playing around with it today. It just had that Capricorn energy that I was really looking for the main deck for today, even though it has a Taurus symbol on the front, because I am a Taurus. That's why my sister put that on there. But all of the decks and supplies here will be listed down in the description in case you're curious about what we get up to here today. Like I said, we're going to be looking into your new year for 2024. As you are watching this, it should already be 2024. As for me filming this, it's still 2023. 2023, so it still feels a little bit foreign for me, but we are going to get right into it. So we're going to look into your blessings, biggest messages, and other really important messages coming through. But we're going to start out first with just the themes that are coming up most often, the energy that's coming up most often for the month of January for you. So do feel free to send your energy, as always, in through time and space. It does make a difference in the reading. And let's see, group 1, what do you have going on for the month of January? I had something in my throat there, but for the month of January, what do you got going on? Group 1. So first off, we have the 4 of Swords. Interesting that this is the card that came out. Seeing as swords have a lot to do with communication and the way that we communicate, and the fact that I actually had my voice sort of cut off in the middle of that, it feels almost like this energy is being cut off for you this month, or it's something that you're hoping for but gets cut off. So we're going to see how that corresponds with the other cards before I talk too much on it. But the 4 of Swords has a lot to do about rest, recovery, recuperation, taking a little bit of time off from something. So a lot of us at the new year, there's a lot of expectations, a lot of aspirations, a lot of things that we're trying to get done and move forward. And you've got the 3 of Swords coming up here too, so more sword energy, and the 4 of Pentacles. So right, like you're trying to get things done. A lot of us do put a lot of pressure on ourselves at the beginning of a new year, especially if you sort of use the new year as sort of a jumping off point to get certain things done that have been kind of stuck in the cycle, or wanting to put on some new habits and sort of change things up and purge and create a new for yourself, a new slate. So the 4 of Swords, like I said, it feels a little bit cut off, and the reason why I feel like it's being a bit cut off is because of this 3 of Swords here, as well as the 4 of Pentacles. Seeing as you have 2 4 cards, 4s really correspond a lot to sort of a resistance to change, a resistance to let things go, a feeling of wanting to do the very opposite, still wanting to keep things as they were, not wanting to change things. So there is this sort of resistance, this push and pull of this new year, this clean slate, and then kind of wanting to just stay where you were, kind of not wanting to make any changes, wanting to stay where things are comfortable. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. A lot of us sometimes put way too much pressure on ourselves, like I said. But the 3 of Swords here is creating more of that pivot. It feels like you're going to have something externally happening that's not really up to you. It's not really in your sort of power to change. So I feel like there's going to be something that's going to roll in, that's going to create a little bit of confusion, create a little bit of a shakeup, because the 3 of Swords has a lot to do with sometimes miscommunication, kind of getting our thoughts combobulated, feeling overwhelmed by certain thoughts as well, which cause that confusion. So I feel like you're kind of having this battle with change a lot this month. Like I feel like this new month is going to be challenging you. It's going to give you a lot of opportunities. I think Spirit is coming in to give you a lot of avenues, paths, and new change that can be brought in. But I feel like you're going to be resistant to that change. I think you're going to be like, no, I'm going to stay where I am. No, I want to keep doing that habit. No, I really want to keep this routine. No, this is still working for me. This is what's still comfortable. And I think you're going to be trying to find that balance for yourself of where things need to maybe be purged, to be let go of, be changed, and where there are still things that you want to keep in your life that you're like, no, this is actually something that's still important to me. This is still benefiting me. This is still useful to me. And I think you're trying to sort of sort that out this month, sort out the confusion, the overwhelm, and the changes that might be fluttering their way in. So with that in mind, let's look a little bit further. So I'm going to be looking into this Song of the Grandmothers deck to look into, one, a little bit more from Spirit, as it does feel like Spirit or Spirit guides are coming through, or some sort of Spirit team for you. But on top of that, I also want to see if there are any energies that are going to be most in your favor this month, or you can also see them as blessings. So we're going to see what those blessings or energies in your favor this month are. So group 1 for the month of January. Ooh, Grandmother Sunflower Nourishment. I really love this card. I love that it always shows like a much smaller, this one keeps trying to come out, a much smaller sunflower. So it feels like, again, like the budding of something. It still feels like it's growing, like you're still trying to get your stride. But nourishment is a huge part of this. So we have Grandmother Sunflower. The number is 10 here. Turn to what you love, whatever feels like sunshine, let it nourish you. So again, this is telling you that you have the agency here. Even though there's going to be things, even though Spirit is going to be showing you all of the cards, showing you different opportunities, avenues, paths for change, it's up to you if you go down those paths, right? There is a little bit more power than I thought you had at the beginning of this. You have a lot more power to decide which changes to make, which changes are worth your time and which ones are not, right? Whatever feels like sunshine, let it nourish you. So if it still feels like sunshine, if it's still nourishing you, if it's still something that you're turning your sunflower face to the sun for and getting that vitamin D for, right? If it's still giving you the benefit, that routine, that path, whatever it might be, then I'd say definitely keep on it because that seems to be benefiting you most this month. On top of that, you also have Grandmother Star, Magick. How to cast a spell, dream, believe, imagine, ask. Open the pathways with the number 43 here. Interesting with the 4 and the 3 showing up here in multiple places. 4 being a number, again, of not wanting to change, a resistance to change. And 3 showcasing a lot of possibilities and opportunities for you. So if you do work with magic, if you are interested in that sort of thing, this also might be a very magical month for you, and it also might just feel like even if you're not the most magical person or you're not into witchcraft or anything like that, if you're just a more spiritual or religious person, you might find just a lot of things lining up, a lot of signs from Spirit, a lot of synchronicities to really listen to, and that might also nourish you this month. So keep an eye out for those as well, right? Those lucky pennies, those odd synchronicities of lights changing on a path or seeing aligning numbers or anything like that. Just really pay attention to those this month. I think they're going to be really important for helping to help you to navigate your month. Alongside that, let's pivot a little bit towards a different kind of card here to look into a relationship card. So this one is for the collective, right? So this could be for any kind of relationship in your life. It could be familial, with Spirit, with your family, with your friends, with platonic people in your life, or with romantic relationships. Wherever you want to take this, do feel free to send that energy and really think of them now. And we're going to see what kind of energy is really coming through for that, as well as any advice from Spirit for a relationship or the relationships in general in your life this month. Okay, so we have change as well as patience. Ooh, okay. This totally makes sense. The patience is a really good word to be coming through here because like I said, I feel like a lot of you are very resistant to that change. And so there could be someone in your life also that is patiently awaiting the change that you're bringing forward as well, and being patient with you as you move through change. We have patience here with this little turtle at the bottom, and it says, the tide will come when it's ready, as well as change. Know when to move to a new shell, especially if yours no longer fits, with this little hermit crab moving from one stage to the next. So it really feels like you also might be leveling up in a relationship in your life as well. There could be a level up, a change, a new shell being born here. But yeah, definitely be patient with those in your life and be patient with the change that might be coming in around your relationships this month. And then lastly, I want to pull 2 more cards. We're going to pull 1 card over here as well as over here. We're going to pull 2 of them. To look into Capricorn season, right? So we're in Capricorn season right now, as of both in 2023 and moving into 2024. This is going to be showing us sort of the bridge into the new year, and to look into with Capricorns, they can be very stuffy, they can be kind of stubborn. As an earth sign myself, I totally feel that, but I think what's great about Capricorn is that they know when change is useful to them and when it's important to them. They may not be the most impulsive with their change. They may not just like turn on a dime, right? It takes a little bit of time, they got to simmer, they got to cook, But I think what we're going to be looking into with these cards is a change that you might be sort of slowly changing your mind to and opening your mind to this month. So even if you don't actually make any changes on it, it's going to be something that is going to be, turning the gears there. So let's see for Capricorn season what changes might be afoot. So we have the Weaver, patterns, connections, meditation. And then we also have for you group 1. What else might be coming in group 1? Ooh, got a jumper here. We also have the 4. Okay, we have 444 showing up here. So if you're looking for repeating numbers, we've got lots of 4s, something definitely to look into. But we also have the 4 of ink pen, manifestation, communication, and clarity. So like I said, I feel like in a relationship in your life, you might find yourself opening your mind to a bit of change, and someone on the other side of the relationship to you kind of opening themselves to the change that you're kind of making and sort of giving you a little bit of space here to change. When I was just looking at this card here for a minute, there's a lot of words on this card, obviously, because it has a lot to do with how we communicate, right? How we communicate can give us a huge, strength in the clarity that we bring forward. Being able to clearly communicate is a huge strength. And I think that also being able to clearly communicate the changes that we want to make with not only other people in our lives, but to ourselves, right? Talking to ourselves in the mirror, creating long-lasting change through planning for that change, writing those things down, putting them in our planner, really stating them out loud to our best friend, right? By moving them from the mind into the physical, that can be a huge step forward, but also one that is super necessary for you this month, to get the ball rolling and to start weaving it into your actual, day-to-day life and the day-to-day activities, right? If we keep these ideas of change in our mind but don't actually act on them, then they just end up, getting lost in there and never really coming out. So making it part of your routine, adding, those changes in slowly, right? Not like all of a sudden, not a huge impulse sort of change, but slowly. Like this is an example I bring out a lot, is the idea of like people who want to start running, right? If you want to start running, it's not really easy to just all of a sudden buy all of the clothes that you need, buy all of the equipment that you need, the shoes, the proper gear, and get outside and find the day that you need for it and have it be sunny that day, right? All of these things need to align to have it be the perfect day to perfectly start. And I think trying to remove some of that perfection is a huge part in helping us create really good, healthy new routines. But also, sometimes it's just making a really small step. Just buying the shoes that day. That can be enough to check off your checklist. Just putting the shoes by the door so that at least you're reminded that it's an opportunity for you to take on if you so wish, right? It's giving yourself the choice or the opportunity versus making yourself do something that you don't normally have in your routine. Planning for those small steps and weaving them into your life is a really huge part in creating this change. So those are all of the cards that I have here, but obviously I want to look a little bit further using the charms. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and let's mix these up for you. Group 1. Okay, so you had a couple of them fly all the way down here just because this isn't a perfectly level space. So we're going to just see if those ones want to hang out anywhere. So we have this one down by patience, this one over here on the star. Let me go ahead and zoom you in so you can see a little bit closer. I'll bring this up a little bit. So what immediately caught my eye is this little vinyl / record here. This one always feels like a song that's, stuck on repeat and on repeat and on repeat. It reminds me of like a CD player when it skips. That's what's really happening on Nourishment here. And then you have this tie down feeling, this feeling of not being open to change. And what this card was all about is nourishing yourself, turning towards the things that are most useful to you, turning towards the things that give you comfort, that make you feel warm and cozy. And yes, I do think you still should continue to do, things at your own pace. But it does seem that there is this huge nudge. It honestly feels like a huge nudge coming from Spirit that's like really trying to push you out of your comfort zone. And I feel like you're definitely pushing back. And I understand that boundary. I just think this month is going to give you the opportunity to maybe consider it a little bit more. Alongside that, we also have the number 6 or 9, depending on the way that it falls, but I'm going to go with 6 here. 6 being the number of harmony, the number of, infinity, sort of similar to the number 8. And then you also have this like light, and I usually see this as like the Ace of Cups. For whatever reason, that's just what my brain always thought of when I first saw it. But today, because it is a light, and then this is all about a star, I feel like you're going to find a lot of harmony in connecting the dots, connecting and weaving the dots, connecting and weaving things together, those synchronicities, those little bits of magic in your life, those bits of luck and possibilities that are opening up for you, and finding a way to weave those into your life in the everyday, in the mundane, that is going to be really impactful and important for you in your own personal spiritual growth, as well as those physical new things you want to bring into your life, like I said with that running analogy. I'd also say with patience, I really think that there's going to be someone who's going to be very patient with you, especially since we have the heart chakra showing up here next to it. So definitely not something to worry about. If you're worried about people not giving you the time to change and slowly get to where you are hoping to get to, don't worry. They're going to be patient with you this month, so nothing to worry about there. They are definitely going to be very flexible and helpful as the month goes forward. But those are all of the cards and charms that I have for you this month, Group 1. I do hope that this has been useful to you. I feel like it's been a little bit all over the place in the fact that it's very like, change, don't be resistant to change, and the small little nuances of that. But I honestly just feel like that's everything that this group and what you guys are really getting today. So let me know if it was useful to you down in the comments below. Always curious. And give this video a like if you did enjoy it. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing, as it is a new year, and I would love to continue doing these readings for you, and hopefully in the new year be able to put out some more educational videos, more art magic videos, and things like that. If you'd like to support this channel as well as support yourself, definitely check out the New Year's readings that I'm doing, where you can get a reading in the mail that I do for you, or a digital reading if that would be more your speed. But it's all about the new year, the things that are bridging the new year from one year to the next, all of the nuances, and even every single kind of reading that I do for those does a card of the year or a theme of the year. And it's one of my personal favorites. It's the kind of reading that if I were to recommend any reading to anyone, this one is really useful. So definitely feel free to check those out down below, and any other ways to support the channel. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this little cavern of crystals, then this is the pile for you, for this little geode of crystal quartz. We are going to be looking into all of the energy, the major themes that are happening for you for the month of January and the new year 2024. As I said in the intro, I am not currently in 2024, it's a couple of days away, so this is like a time travel right now in sort of a weird way. So I'm going to be playing around to see what you have going on in the month of January, using the charms as well as several different oracle decks and different decks of all types, including one of my favorite decks, which is a deck that is actually handmade and created by my sister for me. And it just really gave off this Capricorn energy, even though it has the Taurus sign on it. It was really giving off that earthly Capricorn energy, which we are going to be looking into Capricorn season as well. So I thought it was fitting. All of the decks and stuff will be down below, though, in case you are curious what we use today. But let's just dive right into it. So we're going to look first into the 3 main energies coming through for you for the month of January and the start to the new year, right? Pile number 1 had a lot to do with change and changes that are made in the new year. And I'm curious if that's going to be going on for all 3 piles, because of, we're all in a very similar mindset this time of year. But You all might surprise me, so do feel free to send your energy in to add that personal touch through time and space here. And let's start looking at Group 2. What do you got going on for the month of January, Group 2? So first off, we have the Page of Wands here. The Page of Wands is very adventurous, very much a go-getter, a trendsetter, a advocate of change and creating, a very open-ended feeling towards the year. So I'm very excited to see that adventurous energy coming through for you already, or at least a very open-minded one, a more impulsive one even. So we're going to see what's going on there a little bit further. We also have the Eight of Swords here, which is really interesting. These are very different energies that kind of combat with each other. This also happened a bit in Group 1, so I'm very curious to see if all three piles align, and if you watch all of them, you'll probably know. But yeah, we have the Eight of Swords showing up here as well, which is about how your mindset is something that you're also changing. Although yours feels very optimistic here, so I'm going to see the final card before I make the full assessment here. But there is definitely a change in mindset, a change in perspective as you move through this month that's going to really get you into that adventurous zone. And then we have the Devil card. Okay, perfect. That's one of my favorite cards to get in a New Year's reading, or a reading that starts off a new year, because the Devil card is all about changing things up, changing up your routines, changing up the cycles that you find yourself in. The Devil is all about what holds us back, what chains us back. And it's not necessarily, money or people or places or things that kind of hold us back, but it also is most of the time ourselves, right? And I definitely get this card, and I feel that feeling of like, what? It's not me. I'm not the one doing it. But, sometimes when we really look into it, the biggest person that's holding us back is ourselves. And it's the mindset that we have of ourselves, the way that we are identifying ourselves. That's definitely a word that's coming through for me. It almost feels like an identity shift or an identity change. And it doesn't mean that like you're changing it to a new career, like you once were a comedian, now you're a musician, or you once were this and now you're that, like something that big. It's more of a perspective shift, a mindset shift here, where maybe you always saw yourself as the very cautious one, the one that would really take the path less, or the path that's very well tread, right? You really take your time, those sorts of things. And you feel like you couldn't be the adventurous one. You couldn't be the one that just runs off and does things based entirely off impulse, right? Maybe that feels entirely foreign to you. But I feel like you might be changing that perspective on yourself, bringing, some of those weights that have been on you for quite a while. And sometimes the reason why we don't change, or we don't change those ways that we, identify with these words, adventurous, cautious, playful, flirty, fun, whatever it might be, the reason why we sometimes don't change with those identity shifts or allow ourselves to change is because of the perception of others around us, right? If we start being adventurous, how would other people look at us? They can't rely on us now. They can't trust us. We're gonna do something so wild and different. What are they gonna think of us, right? But I really think that this month is showcasing to you that this is giving you a clean slate of opportunity to really dive into what you identify with these words and with these adjectives, like maybe even write a list and then start adding ones that you'd hope to change, or ones you'd like to flip, or ones you'd like to explore or flirt with or play with this year, or even just for the month, test it out, play around, because that's really coming through with your cards here. Is just this need for an identity shift and change. So these are the things that I'm seeing here already off the bat, but let's see what Spirit has to say as well. We have the Song of the Grandmothers deck, which I love to do for connecting with Spirit, especially nature spirits, but this is also going to be showing you the energy most in your favor this month, or the blessing card for you this month. So let's see what that is for you, Group 2. Group 2, what you got? Okay. I honestly believe I have never gotten this card in a reading for myself or for others. So I'm very curious to see what it says here. So we have the number 50, a very even number, a very, one way or the other kind of number, 50-50 chance. And then we also have here Grandmother Ostrich, honesty as their word. And it says here, speak direct and plain, vulnerable yet tethered to the truths you house. So true, right? I feel like there is a truth that is changing, right? An identity that is changing, a truth that once was, but is not now, right? And sometimes we hold these truths really deeply in our chests, very deeply in our minds, and it takes a lot of time to change them. But when you're just flirting with them, when you're just playing with them, when you're just allowing yourself to be more fluid with them, it gives you an opportunity to see what fits and what doesn't. And like I said, with those, if you actually do decide to create a list, right, these are the things that describe me, these are the things that wouldn't normally describe me, these are the things that totally don't describe me, but I'd like to try, right? It gives you that opportunity to shift your identity, to shift your perspective on yourself, and by being honest, I think that is, a really big first step. So that's coming through. That's definitely an energy most in your favor this month. But obviously we want to look further. So we're going to pivot a little bit with this and look at a relationship card real quick. So for these cards, I like to look into the collective relationships that are coming through, but you're welcome to send in a specific relationship that you're thinking of, right? With a mother, or a family member, a spirit, a best friend, a romantic relationship, however you wish. But we're going to be looking into those to look into any advice coming through from spirit or any energy to really be aware of for the month of January. Group 2 here, the month of January. We have Breathe. I'm feeling 2 cards today, so let's pull one more. Breathe and Self-Care. Interesting. So both of these are feeling very self-care, like very meditative, very taking some time to yourself. Maybe this is even the relationship with yourself this month. But we have Breathe with this like soaring bird here. And it says, break from beneath the water's surface and soar up beyond the turquoise sea. Love that. And then we also have self-care here with drowning doesn't always require water. Right? So when you're just sort of snatching at things and catching at things and trying to pull yourself back up. So with this honesty card, this really listening to yourself, really taking some time, I think this month isn't about making a bunch of actions by being adventurous or impulsive immediately, but more so just opening your mind to it. Opening and being honest to the truths that are no longer true about yourself. And then also, when it comes to your relationships too, it just might be that they're very calm this month. Maybe you guys go to a spa together for some self-care. Maybe you can connect through your breath with spirit, right? This can go lots of different ways depending on what you are focusing on, but we have Breathe and Self-Care for you. And then to finish off the reading, first off, if you are enjoying this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like. It really helps the channel, so thank you, and you're welcome to subscribe. But before we move to the charms, I'd like to look into a Capricorn message. So any Capricorns out there, first off, happy birthday to you all. But on top of that, I also want to look into the Capricorn energy and see how it can really, lift up your year. The great thing about Capricorns are that yes, they can be stubborn. Yes, it can take time for them to change. But when they get their mindset on changing, they do all the research. They look into the nitty gritty. They do tables, right? They write things out. They have the pros and cons lists. So they really create long-standing change and change that has been well researched and well considered. So when it comes to the changes that you might be bringing into your own life as we move into a new year and into a new month, what might those changes look like and how can that Capricorn energy really help you? So we're going to see all of that for Capricorn energy for you. Depending, it doesn't mean you're a Capricorn. It just means how can you work with the Capricorn energy. Let's see. Group. I think it's actually this back card. Group 2 here. Let's get one more. Group 2. your guys' pile is flying. I don't know if you guys know this, not just like flying cards, but like it just feels like it's flying really fast. So we first off have, second off have Ace of Ink, Pigment, Alchemy, Process, and yes, the best word here, experimentation. This is all about experimenting, playing around, flirting with the idea of change. Even just like role playing it as if you're a different person for a day, just seeing what it would be like to be in someone else's shoes or how you might do something, even if that just gives you, a little bit of courage to get outside of those identity markers, those truths that are no longer truths for you, and see what it might look like, right? So experimentation is a huge part of it. Pigment is, to experiment to create pigments. I don't know if you guys have ever actually done it for yourself, but pigments is a very chemical process to create different pigments for paints and dyes and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes you think that, red cabbage is going to turn out to be a red pigment or a purple pigment, but then it turns blue. So it all kind of just depends, right? And you're just experimenting and seeing what happens. Alongside that, you also have the flame here, wildness, passion, and destruction. Perfect for you right now too, because you're kind of moving into that adventurous, impulsive side, and the flame is very impulsive. It moves quickly, it changes quickly. The fire element is very quick for change. So I feel like this is also not letting yourself think too much on it. Capricorn season is showcasing to you, yes, consider things well, but honestly, I think what's going to be most in your favor this month is to not overthink it, to just, go with your impulse and make those changes and see what comes through for you when it comes to those identity changes. But that's really what I'm getting here for you with the flame and the Ace of Ink. But let's go ahead and finish off your reading with the beloved charms and see what they have to say for you as well. So group 2, the month of January 2024, group 2. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you in and let's just have a little look here. So first off, we had breathe show up here earlier, and this little topper bit is part of a medicine to help with asthma. So this makes me think, especially since it fell near the neck of this honesty of the ostrich, that what's going to help you breathe deeper, to breathe better in your relationships with yourself, is that, again, that feeling of being honest. And I kept talking about honesty with yourself, but like I said, sometimes the hardest part when it comes to breaking up in a way with these truths that no longer, fit us, or these identities that no longer fit us, is how other people are, sorry, I had something in my throat, but how other people are going to perceive that. And I think that what's going to help you breathe deeper and to breathe better is being able to be honest with other people and being honest with those in your life about these changes that you're making and giving them the time to acclimate to them, but not, stopping yourself from doing what you want to do or being who you are because of their perception of you. Which is harder, it's easier to say than done, but it is a pattern that is changing for you, especially since this is the pattern charm falling on the 8 of Swords. Alongside that, we also have the monster charm, which is making me think that honesty is definitely something you fear. It's something that, has been a cycle that's been keeping you safe for a while, but this is the break the cycle charm, right? It's about breaking a cycle, breaking a routine with someone, the way that you think of yourself as well as how others think of you, and needing to break that routine there. And then we also have the Little Trees charm showing up here by Ace of Ink, Pigment. And what I love about this one, especially since it's called Little Trees, it's a car freshener, right? Those air freshener things. It makes me think that this is like the very budding little tree that you're building, right? And aces have a lot to do with, budding early stage things. So if we're thinking of that showing up in both places, that this is going to give you this experimentation, this alchemy, this process of trial and error is going to give you so much more growth long term and so much more room to grow long term than keeping, these identities that no longer serve you and keep you in this loop. So those are all of the charms that I have for you and all of the cards that I have for you here today, group 2. I hope that this has been useful and helpful for you, and if it has, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated. Always curious to see your thoughts and feelings on the charms and the cards. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing, as I put out new videos every single Monday. I definitely want to play around with more art magic this year and creating more educational videos. So if you guys want to see anything like that, do let me know in the comments down below and I will add it to a list of videos I'd like to get to. And on top of that, if you are wanting to look more deeply into your new year, maybe getting into the nuances of all of this and the full year's perspective, I do offer digital and snail mail readings for the new year. So definitely feel free to check those out down below by emailing me or by sending me a DM, and we can get that all figured out on what spreads and everything that you'd like and the prices and such. So that's a great way to support yourself and to keep this channel running. So definitely feel free to check them out down below for your new year. Highly recommend. It's the reading I do for myself every year, and it's the reading I recommend to most who have never had a reading before because it's very useful and quite overarching. So with that all said, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of Lapis Lazuli, then this is the pile for you moving into the month of January and into the new year of 2024. I feel like y'all are time travelers for me because I'm still in 2023 when I filmed this. But we are going to be playing around with the charms as well as several different oracle decks, and the tarot deck of choice being the Star Sisters Tarot, a tarot deck that my sister actually made for me, which I am so grateful for. It has this really earthy energy that brings forward that Capricorn season feeling towards it, so we're going to be looking into that for some Capricorn season influences too, as we move into more of January. But if you are curious to see the different decks and supplies in more detail, I have them listed down below in the description. And if you're interested in looking deeper into any reading here, definitely feel free to check out the different offerings I have down below for digital and snail mail readings for the new year. Definitely recommend, especially if you've never had a tarot reading before, because they're so overarching. But we're going to be diving in first into the new year for you for the first month with January. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Definitely feel free to send your energy into the cards here today. And let's look group 3. What do you got going on for the month of January? Those main energies, main themes for the month of January. Ooh, one already flipped. Interesting. The month of January, group 3. So first off, we have the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups totally makes sense. I feel like this is going to be a theme that comes up for all of the piles and has so far, is the idea of change, right? Change is a huge part of a new year cycle. But the 4 of Cups and the 4s in general usually showcase a lot of resistance to change. So I'm curious to see how that resistance comes in for you. What else do we have coming in for you, group 3? So we also have the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is all about finding very stable routines and rhythms in your life that create really good long-standing financial abundance and creating a lot of physical security for you. So it might be a resistance to change when it comes to your career or your job, things within your finances, how you are spending, your spending habits even. So we're going to see what else is coming through for you, group 3 here. So what else? You also have the 6 of Cups. Okay, so it almost feels like with the cards that you're getting here, the 6, the 4, and the 9, is this feeling that you don't want to mess anything up. It kind of feels like you are in sort of a perfectionistic mindset. The 4 of Cups really shows that off. The 4 of Cups can really talk about us not seeing an opportunity that's right in our face because we're too focused on the details. We're too focused on that detailed oriented, perfectionistic, wanting to have everything in line kind of feeling. And so as you move into the new year, I feel like you're wanting to keep all your ducks in order. You're trying to keep everything in line so that you can continue to have this financial abundance, or trying to continue making sure that the security and comfort that you've brought into your home can continue and stay. But the Six of Pentacles is showcasing this feeling that the change that you have coming in for the new year isn't to change the routines that you have going on here. I don't really feel like they're like, no, you need to change this up, but more so that there's going to be opportunities to use the wealth and the comfort and the security that you found to help others. That's really what I'm getting here, is this feeling of almost like reciprocity, helping others, giving back to those who have given to you, whether that's financially or with advice or giving tips or helping with a skill, or, you know, helping someone to learn something, whatever it might be. But it feels like you're wanting to give back to your community, or you're going to be in an opportunity, even if you don't necessarily want to be, to give back to your community, to give back to your chosen family, to be able to help someone, or to be able to lend a helping hand of some sort. I feel like that's going to be coming up this month for you for sure, because the Six of Cups has a lot to do with reciprocity, giving back, that feeling of those who have more and those who have less, and trying to, you know, create a little bit more balance here. So when I'm looking at all of these, right, together, it's just showcasing that you definitely have a routine that's working for you. I don't feel like that you're being really told to change that, especially if it is working. Otherwise, if you don't feel like this is working for you, if you're like, what, it's definitely not working for me, I definitely need to make changes, definitely feel free to make those changes. But listen to spirit, because I feel like there's an opportunity that you're not seeing here, because the Four of Cups can talk about having an opportunity literally right in front of your face, but not seeing it or not clearly looking at it. So really considering your opportunities, considering paths that you can take to help create a more secure financial future for you, with your spending habits, family, your home life, your actual home itself, right, where you're living. There could be opportunities coming in there that you're just not seeing or not realizing, that could give you a lot more security, comfort, and safety. So with that in mind, let's look a little bit further and see what else spirit might be saying with the Song of the Grandmothers, which have a lot of beautiful nature spirits in here, but also to look into a blessing that's in and on its way for you for the month of January. But also, you can see this card, if you're not really into blessings, you can see this card more so as an energy most in your favor this month. So let's see what that is for you. Group 3. Ooh, you have a lavender, homeostasis. Perfect card for you all. Homeostasis has a lot to do with the idea of balance being a very personal thing, right? Sometimes we think of balance as being this perfect 50-50, but sometimes, you know, it skews depending on the person and the needs that are needing to be met by that person, and finding your own personal homeostasis, your own personal balance, and that might not look like everyone else's balance. Like for me personally, I'm a night owl, and for a lot of people that would not be that useful, that routine and that schedule, but for me it really works. So here we are with Grandmother Lavender, homeostasis, showing up here, and it says, the pendulum swings to and fro, seeking balance. What feels right to you? With the number 3 showing up here. 3 being a really good number as well for those opportunities. So with this showing up here earlier, where I said that there could be an opportunity coming in to help you create more of that comfort and safety, it might be around creating balance in your home life, or creating balance in like how much you're sleeping, how much you're exercising, how much you're like what you're putting your energy into, and what is taking your energy. So I really feel like creating that balance for you is really important, because especially around this time of year, after we've had the holidays and after we've had so many other big routines happening, right, we get a little bit out of whack and we have to find a new normal again. And so I feel like that's coming in. The other idea with homeostasis too, with that to and fro, the pendulum swings, that Six of Cups feeling, is maybe you were at a moment in your life where you were really out of balance and someone came in, swooped in to try to help you. And maybe you want to be able to give back to them right now, sending a thank you note, sharing gratitude, or helping them out in some way if they are currently out of balance. That might be something that's coming up for you as well this month, especially with 3 having a lot to do with teamwork or community. And out of curiosity, I want to see what this card is because it keeps flying over there. So you also have the card Self-Trust with Grandmother Primrose. Give yourself credit, one choice at a time. Repeat, learn to trust yourself with the number 6. So this also coming through as well, to trust that you're maybe in a position right now to help others, to aid others. And if you're not now, then making sure that you do pay back or to, pay it back towards someone who is currently helping you in the future, or is currently helping you and you help them in the future. So we have that showing up here as well with self-trust and primrose. And just in general, beyond everything that we've said here too, self-trust is also something that you might be working on this month and might be an energy that would really favor you to build more self-trust with yourself through self-care or through, trust exercises with yourself in some way. So those are all of the main cards that we have here, but I want to pivot a little bit and start looking into a card or 2 here to look into a relationship in your life. So this could be any relationship you want, or you can see it more generally as we are doing a more collective reading here into the relationships in your life. So whether that's with friends, family, romantic relationships, spirit, yourself, however you wish. But let's go ahead and look into those main energies or advice coming through this month for you, group 3, for relationships, group 3 for the month of January. Yeah. So we have Journey showing up here, and I want to pull one more. Group 3. Ooh, interesting. Prudence. That's one that hardly ever shows up. So we have here Prudence with this little lyre here. And it says, don't be lured by the siren's song. It almost feels like, listening to your own beat versus the beat of someone else's drum. And then we also have Journey here. Half the treasure is the journey on the path to finding it, with this little treasure chest, right? So I feel like you might also just be trying to be more present this month, trying not to listen to other people's opinions of yourself. That kind of comes in with that self-trust and this feeling of like not letting other people get to you, not letting other people kind of rain on your parade right now, and only giving your energy and reciprocity to those who deserve it. With this homeostasis card here, it's really making me think that you're maybe finding a little bit of balance and trust with someone in your life as well, that you're kind of taking literally on a journey with you. Some of you might be like traveling or something, but I also think in general there's an emotional journey, a journey of trust and vulnerability and intimacy that might be building as well with someone in your life too. So these kind of feel separate, so definitely feel free to see how those are connecting with different people in your life here, moving into the next month. But we're going to also move a little bit further. We'll be doing the charms here in a minute, and we're going to look into Capricorn cards now. But if you have enjoyed this reading so far and you found something useful in it, definitely be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel. You're also welcome to subscribe. But let's look first into your Capricorn cards. So first off, happy birthday to any Capricorns out there. Also, I just want to talk about how Capricorns get such a bad rep of being kind of stoic, very stubborn, very stuck in the mud kind of people. But what's great about Capricorn is that when they realize that change is needed, that there's a need for change, once they make up their minds for that, they do all the research, they know all the nitty-gritty, they're very detail-oriented and consider every piece of that change so that they're not just working off impulse, but also, making a very rational, responsible change in their life. And so how can you use that Capricorn energy in your own life to create really good change, especially moving into a new year? So we're going to see how that translates for you here. Oh my goodness, I almost feel like we have too many cards here, but I'm going to go ahead and just take the top from each of the piles. Sorry, got interrupted for a second, but I'm going to go ahead and take the top 2 cards here with the waters as well as the, not that one, the 7 of ink illumination. Those were the 2 that were speaking to me. So we're going to see what they have to say. We have the waters with relief, rejuvenation, and rest, which with everything that you have going on here, it's kind of nice to see that, especially for the Capricorn season, of, you know, just taking it a little bit easy, which is kind of what we were already getting here, not making major changes. Also, water, you know, holds memories, especially in a spiritual sense. So the fact that we had that Six of Cups coming up, which is a water element card, and that don't be lured by the siren song in the same way, we have a lot of watery energy showing up here that's making me think that, like, it's remembering to give gratitude, remembering to be grateful for giving a bit of a helping hand, to pay it forward, kind of feeling that that's really important, and people are going to really remember that, and it's going to make a long-standing impact as well. And the fact that you also got here illumination, the Seven of Ink, with accomplishment, realization, and pride being something that, like, sometimes can hold us back from paying things forward or receiving the help that we need, right? Because sometimes we feel like we are then lower or higher, or there's this power struggle there. Sometimes it's important as well to recognize that dynamic as well, was while you're trying to navigate this paying forward situation, and how that might impact your relationship with this person or this situation. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull you some charms to finish off your reading. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and let's pull you some charms. Group 3, 2024, January in Capricorn season. Okay, so we don't have a lot of charms here, honestly, and I wasn't really feeling like you needed a lot of clarity here, but just in case, we have a few different charms showing up here. We first have the Magician charm showing up here at homeostasis, which makes me think too that if you are a more magically inclined person, a person who really works with magic, witchcraft, spirituality in that way, synchronicities and signs in that way, I really feel like lavender is one to really work with this time of year, and using it as a refresh and as a way of sort of freshening things up, finding that rejuvenation and rest, maybe even having like some sort of spa bath situation here could be really useful to you. On top of that as well, it just might be really useful to use different magical routines in your life to help with that homeostasis, personal balance, energy shift, and lavender seems to really want to work and help you with that. We also have here the Overwhelmed charm, and oh my gosh, this is perfect. The Thank You charm, which I've recently put into here. This usually represents feeling overwhelmed, right? Overstressed, overstretched with something. And then we have the thank you next to this journey. So I really feel like, again, being very thankful, being very grateful, or again, someone maybe having a lot of pride and not wanting to take your thanks or take your help, is something to just really be considerate of moving forward this month, being respectful of how other people might be feeling when you're trying to give financial help, giving tips or advice, or vice versa for yourself from another person. Just being aware of that dynamic is really important as you move through this month. But those are all of the cards and charms that I have for you for this month. A very small amount of charms, but still impactful ones. If you did enjoy this reading, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below. Always curious to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to hear what kinds of readings and educational videos and art magic videos you'd like to see in the future for this year. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing, as I put out new videos every single Monday for art, magic, career, charm casting, for your own personal empowerment, and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to look into those, definitely feel free to check out the channel already or subscribe. And if you'd like to support yourself, like I said at the beginning of this, if you'd like to support yourself with a reading of your own for New Year's, definitely feel free to check those out down below. Highly recommend, as it is literally one of my favorite readings to do, and the readings that I feel like are most impactful for those who are new with getting into tarot or new to getting their own private readings. So definitely feel free to check those out down below by sending me an email or a DM. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.